Greetings, friend, and welcome to the Between the Covers podcast, where we are working every day to remove the self-limiting beliefs that are preventing us from becoming the heroes of our own stories. I am Marcus Spar, and today I want to offer a challenge that I was recently challenged with just this last week on figuring out what is your comfort zone. Because I've been working through a guided journal where I was posed this question on Friday, and it was kind of telling for me. In fact, I've got my dragon journal here that I was using for this, and this was a challenge. And it was a good challenge. And the thing that made this so challenging for me is it really opened my eyes to some things that have been unhelpful for me. Here is something that is just kind of running through my mind right now as I'm thinking on this is our comfort zones. They tend to be something that is very unconscious for us. It is what we turn to when we are feeling overwhelmed, when we are, as the name implies, just looking for some kind of comfort. When we are stressed, this is kind of where we want to go. It's essentially a means of coping. And a lot of the work that I do is centered around helping people overcome unhelpful coping mechanisms. Not that I've had plenty of those in my life, mind you. As a life coach, I tend to bring what I have experienced in my life and how I've worked to overcome them to every single conversation I have. I was challenged. On what is my comfort zone, and more importantly, what am I willing to do to get out of it? Now, let's just be clear. I don't believe that comfort zones are a bad thing. However, they can lead us to some complacency. If we are constantly turning to something for comfort, or we're not willing to get out of our comfort zone in order to achieve some kind of goal, then it's going to leave us stuck. And maybe it's one of those situations where, yeah, we know life could be better. Yeah, 100% life could be better than where we are right now. But this is also where I am comfortable. This is what I'm used to. This is what I'm familiar with. And I want to pose the question of, what is your comfort zone? And this was honestly challenging for me to even come up with, because I often feel like I'm constantly being pulled out of my comfort zone. However, things that I would define as my comfort zone would be my solitude, having a desire to not be around other people, or being very selective in who I spend time with, on making sure that I have some time away from everything in order to just recharge when I am feeling overwhelmed. A big thing that is a part of my comfort zone happens to be my video games. I do love to play video games. It is one of my favorite things to do with my off time. And it can also be problematic where I let that creep too much into other times where I could be more productive. Or maybe I am turning to it as a means to distract myself from some difficult feelings that I'm having. Again, difficult feelings, I don't want to deal with those. So I'm going to find comfort. Where do I turn? Things that are in my comfort zone. These video games that I love to play, the music that I like to listen to, the distractions that keep me from having to think or even focus on what is bothering me in this moment. And again, I want to reiterate, I'm not saying that these are inherently bad, because they're not. They oftentimes are things that help us make it through the day. They help us get through some very challenging times. The nature of comfort, though, is we oftentimes don't make choices to leave this comfort zone. Now, there are people that do. There are people that absolutely thrive in being challenged, of having these moments of stress and uncertainty and kind of powering through, and that's where they get their sense of achievement from. Someone like me, that's oftentimes not how it works. Now, I want to have a moment of vulnerability here with you, because as I said, I have my dragon journal here that, there we go, that I was doing this with, and I was kind of powering through this. This journal was something that I was hoping would give me some ideas to work with clients. However, I do have on this page here, this is what I would be willing to do to step out of my comfort zone in order to achieve some of these dreams that I have in life. And the very first one I have on here, probably shocker of all shockers here, is play less video games. I really did not want to write that one down, but if I'm brutally honest with myself, it really is something that does take away from time that I could be pursuing other things, such as writing more, which is something I have on here. That creativity, putting words to paper, putting words to word processing, and getting my ideas to a place where I can share them with others. If I were willing to do more of that, then I would absolutely achieve some of these dreams that I have been sitting on for a long time. I also have honest conversations with those I love. And this is something that came up just this last weekend as well, where I have had some very difficult feelings, and I have felt so stretched, so spread out, and it's not even like I'm really all that busy. Emotionally and mentally, I have been taxed, and I have felt like I haven't been able to catch a break. And this last Saturday, Libby brought to my attention that we're having some problems with the hot tub, in that after having a refurbished motor put in, there is a leak, because this new motor is a little longer, a little bigger than the one that we had before that was burnt out. And it was a little challenging getting all of the space and connections and everything in there, that we were told, you know what, if you have any problems with this, let us know, we'll come out and take a look at it. And hot tub is more of Libby's thing. It is something that she enjoys more, because I like the cold water more than the hot water. And so I went out there a couple of times with her, did not realize that we were losing about an inch of water in this thing a week. And she sent me a text message and was like, hey, would we be able to get in touch with our spa place to have them come out and take a look and get this resolved? So I received this text message, and I also had a missed call from her. And then I send her a message and I tell her, yeah, I'll give the spa place a call and we'll get a tech out. And then she calls me again to talk about it. And she's like, is there maybe a chance that we can have things, or like actually get in there and see if there's anything we can do in the meantime? And it just added to this idea, this belief that I had, that I just can't catch a break. And Libby was like, it should only take a couple of minutes. And I knew that wasn't going to be true. We had to canvass our neighborhood to try and find a tool that would help us. And we had to get we had to borrow a 14-inch pipe wrench in order to try and mitigate the leak that we were having. And it took about 30 minutes to get everything figured out. And all of this, I'm like, I have to power through. I have to do everything that I can in order to mitigate what's going on here. And then once that was done, I shut down. I was tired. I was frustrated. This was one of the few days where I could actually get some kind of rest, and it wasn't even really all that restful because we took Odin for a walk. We took him to the grand opening for a new dog park over here that he's going to be getting a ton of use out of. And I also wanted to participate in the No Kings protest that was taking place here locally. And I was tired from everything going on this last week. And all I wanted was a break. And I believed and felt that I didn't get one. Well, Libby brought to my attention that she knew something like this was going to happen. And before she even told me about it, she had to think and process on whether or not it was going to be worth reaching out to me for help on this, because she knew that I was going to shut down and she would not have a husband for a couple hours. Not proud of it, but that's also what happened. And before we left to go play some Storm King's Thunder with our friends, we sat down and we talked. And Libby was like, hey, this is what I'm observing, and we need to figure out how to do things better here. And I'm like, yeah, I've known that I've needed to talk with you about this kind of stuff, but I'm really gun shy about doing that. I don't know when is ever going to be a good time. And so I just kind of keep things bottled up inside, which is never a good thing to do. And we talked, probably for a half an hour. And I was able to share things from my perspective. Libby shared things from her perspective. Things are going better now. It's still not perfect because we are imperfect. Yet, things have gotten better since, guess what? I was brave enough to be honest in my conversation with Libby. We were able to be open, be honest, hold the space for each other. And because of that, a lot of that stress has gone away. So when I was posed with the question of what would I be willing to do in order to achieve some of these dreams and get out of my comfort zone, being honest and having these honest conversations with those that I love that's kind of an important one that I have not been very willing to take up. I also have network with others. If I'm trying to build up my business, then I'm going to need to do some networking. Reach out to people who can help me. Again, those kind of honest conversations, not trying to do this alone and actually relying on other people. Put myself out there more, which is a prospect that absolutely scares the fucking shit out of me. Considering I put myself out there every single week on this podcast, yet if you take a look at the listens and the views that I get, I guess that makes it a little easier because it's not like there's a whole lot of people that are actually paying attention. Get better sleep and get more sleep. This is something that has been an issue since I got into my 30s. So, gosh, over a decade now, I have struggled with sleep and just trying to maintain good sleep hygiene and lose some weight, take care of some bodily issues I'm having with like my strained back and things of that nature, and mitigate snoring and maybe see if I do have something like an undiagnosed REM sleep behavior disorder that we might be able to work on. And take more chances. I guess that kind of ties into put myself out there more. However, I am oftentimes reluctant to take chances. I have a lot of fear around that. And I have a lot of fear around Libby's fear around me taking chances. When I think about my writing, when I think about potentially getting a book out there and getting it published, I am afraid of failure, and I'm also afraid of success in this endeavor. Kind of leaves me in a place where I just don't even pursue it. I just move to, my video games, to distracting myself because I'm not allowing myself to be creative. And those are things that if I want to get where I want to go, if I want to stretch myself, doing these things, making these changes in my life and changing my routines and my habits, that's going to be necessary. It's going to be important for me if I want to achieve these dreams, and it requires me to get out of my comfort zone. And the prospect of that frightens me, if I am totally honest. It frightens me because I don't want to be rejected. And I have so much evidence that tells me that that's not really going to happen. And I also have evidence that tells me, that is a distinct possibility. I have reached out to some author friends of mine to see if they'd be willing to be interviewed for my podcast, and I heard nothing back from them. However, I have also reached out to some people that I, at best, have parasocial relationships with, and at worst, it's like I've never even met or heard of this person. I'm sending out these emails, and it's like, hey, would you be interested in coming on my podcast? And they're saying yes. I am taking those chances, and I am also incredibly terrified about the rejection that can happen. This is my world right now. This is my life. And I fully understand that I have put myself in this position. I'm the one who chose to start this podcast. I'm the one who chose to do a monthly hero study. I am the one who chose to move out of studying someone and actually inviting people on and interviewing them. And all of that being said, as frightening as that has been for me, it has also been incredibly liberating to reach out and get those affirmatives, get the yeses, get the people who say, I would love to be on there and share my story. It is my sincerest hope that taking some of these chances will help get this out into the ears of more people, people that could benefit from hearing this. But if I stay in my comfort zone, if I just sit back and I just do whatever it is that's going to help me get through the day, whether it's putz around in my email inbox, if it's play some games, if it's find another book to read in order to not actually do the curriculum work that I've been saying I'm going to do. If I stay in my comfort zone, I am going to get the same results that I have received and that I have achieved. This brings me back to my original question. What is your comfort zone? And I want to encourage you to be brutally honest with yourself. Again, some of those things I did not want to write down. I did not want to write down to play less video games, to take more chances, to put myself out there, to have these hard, honest conversations with the people that I love and I care for. I didn't want to be honest with myself. Because if I was honest with myself, then, oh fuck, I'm going to have to make some of these changes. And I didn't want to do that. What is your comfort zone? Are you able to define it? And it might take a little work. It might take some brutal honesty. It might take some reevaluating of these things that you tell yourself that you're doing that are good, that are taking away from the great things that you could be doing. You're the only one who can definitively come up with what is your comfort zone. And as I experienced in this guided journal, once you know what that comfort zone is, what are you willing to do to break free from it in order to achieve the dreams that you want to accomplish? And this is something that I know is going to take time. I'm going to have to be patient with myself. I am going to have to deal with these thoughts and these beliefs about myself that say this isn't worth it. Just keep with the status quo. Nothing is going to change. Whatever happens be, that I'm not worth it, that no one wants to talk with me. Oh, okay, talk about being brutally honest with myself. Those are things that I think of. And if I want to break free from them, then I need to start doing some of these things that I say will help me achieve what I hope to achieve. I need to write. I need to put myself out there. I need to stop distracting myself with video games, with movies, with you name it. I have to prioritize these things that are ultimately going to help, and they're going to be hard, and it's going to be challenging. And that is my challenge for you. I hope that you can come up with ideas of what is your comfort zone and how you can stretch yourself from that, how you can make some choices and change some habits and set up some routines in order for you to achieve the dreams that you hope to achieve. I also want to assure you that I'm right there with you. I am right there with you in having to make some of these difficult and challenging changes. If this is something that I can help you with, then please reach out. I am happy to hold space for you to have conversations in order to help you achieve your dreams and become the hero in your own story. We can do this together. If not with me, there are others who can help you with this. Maybe it's someone like my partner Libby. Maybe it's someone like my numerous friends that have been featured in hero studies, like Ben and Brandon and Katie, John and Dan. Maybe it's even someone like, I have parasocial relationships with Tori Williams Douglas and Brad Onishi. But there are people out there who are willing to work with you and help you. And I am willing to do that. If that's something you're interested in, please reach out. Please get in touch with me. I am happy to see how I can assist you as I continue to learn how it is for me to be the hero in my own story. Take care. We'll talk again next week. And until next time, live strong for today.